into a business.
Talent is preeminent.
Get first-hand success stories from seasoned entrepreneurs only on Build Your Own Business.
This is Build Your Own Business. Powered
by Oze. Make money with Oze.
This is Build Your Own Business by Oze. I'm Wale Famrewa. Thank you for joining us on the program as we speak to accomplished entrepreneurs in Nigeria. And as we listen to their stories, we learn a thing or two about what makes them tick and how they see the environment. And hopefully you can learn some things about how you can build your own business. In a moment, we'll be listening to the bio of our guest for today. Stay with us.
Abayomi Awobokun is a business leader from Nigeria, a 2016 recipient of the Young Global Leader Award from the World Economic Forum, WEF, a 2017 recipient of the prestigious Archbishop Desmond Tutu Fellow from the African Leadership Initiative in South Africa, and in 2018, a three-time recipient of the Top 100 African Business Persons on the 40 Award by the Choiseul Institute in Paris, France. Former Chief Executive Officer of Enyo Retail Supply, a downstream player in Nigeria poised to utilize technology to simplify and optimize fuel retailing in Nigeria. He is also the former CEO of Oando's PLC's downstream business in Nigeria, West Africa, Europe, and the Middle East, and that's for over 6 years. Under his leadership, the business achieved an annual turnover of over $1 billion in 2015, growing its market share by over 6% to 15% of the private sector supply and distribution of refined products into Nigeria. Other achievements recorded include successfully expanding Oando's trading division into Southern Africa and the Middle Eastern markets, and also leading the 2016 $250 million equity injection into the business by 2 international investors. This successful deal was one of the largest in the downstream sector in Nigeria in 2016. He is the founder of the September 20 Foundation, a voluntary donor-funded initiative to support the operations of internally displaced persons (IDP) camps in Nigeria. Abayomi Awobokun is presently the founder and chief executive of Enyo Ecosystems. Ladies and gentlemen, we present Abayomi Awobokun.
Welcome back. Let's now get started with this conversation with our guest today, Abayomi Awobokun. He's the founder and CEO of Enyo Ecosystems. We'll hear a little more about that as we continue. Thank you so much, Yomi, for joining us today. And obviously, you've cut your teeth in the oil and gas space, so maybe we can start with that and just get your perspective on the opportunities that you're seeing in that. So you were the founder of Enyo, which you've now sold to Ardova. And I think one of the things that really set you apart was how you use technology to sort of disrupt that space. So tell us a little bit about how you were able to bring technology into that ecosystem of oil and gas. And in your view, what are the opportunities moving forward for oil and gas investments?
Wale, thank you. Thank you to you and your team. Thanks for having me on the program. And it's certainly a pleasure to be here. Jumping right into it, I think it's unfair to talk about Enyo without talking about Oando, where I learned a lot. And a lot of the things that we did at Enyo, we did at Oando, or we started to do at Oando, and those were things like being more efficient with processes, using tech, to drive back processes. Admin was fully, on different tech platforms. And our inventory systems were transparent and visible to all the people that it needed to be visible to on the platform, in the organization. Financial systems, the same. And that's really how Enyo was built. The difference was, however, Oando existed before, and we founded Enyo from the ground up. So we were lucky. We could literally start as we meant to go on. And we did some interesting things, station selection. We did, using a GPS-based app, which we built, and that helped us to identify the right location. We could almost predict how profitable a location would be before we put, a block or a brick in the ground or any equipment in the ground. From there, we had biometric systems for managing the team at the station. We had systems for managing min-max levels of fuel. We had systems for tracking, customers as they bought fuel. We started a very sexy product called Velox, which is our own prepaid payment card. We had poised, which was supposed to be a single point of payment. Also allows the customer to know who served them and allows everybody to track their purchase and purchasing habits, and hopefully, identify what additional services we could render to the customer. And those were just some of the, tech that we had. Business has now been sold to Adova. It's a bigger platform. They're now the largest retail company in the country, with that underlining tech, and their capital and their supply chain strength. It's only been 3 months, but I'm excited at what they could become. But that's just a brief, introduction to what we did at Enyo. Thank you.
It sounds great. And all that said, though, what are your thoughts about investing in oil and gas in general in Nigeria, more so with all the conversations around energy transition across the world?
Listen, oil and gas is vast. Everything that I have done must be a very small fraction of the oil and gas or the energy value chain. Downstream is a very small part of it. There's midstream, there's infrastructure, there's refining, so in some places that is classed under midstream. Then there's the upstream, which is where the real cash is spent. Investing, huge opportunities. There's still opportunities in the downstream. Logistics is still a problem. Distribution can do with investing. LPG is huge. There's clean power options now. There's solar. Battery. There are interesting areas to invest today. In the midstream, there's an infrastructure deficit that can support logistics for both gas, and also for fuels, liquids. And in the upstream, huge opportunities. You do know there is a massive investment going on in Lagos in the oil and gas space by Alhaji Dangote. I have to speak about that. Very laudable, very bullish, very courageous project. Literally, 10 kilometers or less from where I'm sat, billions of dollars that will literally change this country and improve our fortunes. And many investment opportunities can piggyback off that, But in terms of investing in energy, broadly speaking, I think it's a very viable sector. And by God's grace, as we, have some of these projects come on stream, there will be opportunities to invest and export products and services from, energy, investments in the country. So huge opportunities right across the value chain.
So as you've walked that road of oil and gas investing, what would you say have been the biggest lessons that you have learned? What would you say to your younger?
Well, listen, it's my bigger lessons are to get acumen. Know what it is exactly you need to do. So I benefited a lot from working for Oando and working for, working with great people who knew what they were doing, and learned, the ropes that way, almost like I wouldn't say an apprenticeship, but that's what it was. I served under very credible people. So I'd say to young people first, in your own way, in your own style, find mentors, find line managers, find supervisors, find investors that you can learn from. That's the first one. Second is, take measured risks. And it's not different from any other business. When we founded Enyo, we had a great board. What the board did was, ensure that our ESG, matrices were well articulated. So governance was clear from the get-go. Sustainability was important. Elements of environment and risk management were very well defined, and that protected our investment. We went into a COVID year as a 2-year-old business. The board was very clear of how they wanted us to operate, and we didn't go bankrupt, and that's because of governance. So I say to young people, identify role models that you can piggyback or copy and improve. Also, don't take risk for granted. And last, and perhaps most important, you've got to get the best people and treat them well. And I think we did that at Enyo. We had a great team, very, very proud of what they did and what they still do at Adova, including the Adova guys, and we treated them well. Those were my lessons for sure.
All great advice, no doubt. So let's talk a bit about what you're getting into now. So as I mentioned earlier, you're the founder and CEO of Erela Ecosystems. The name gives it a bit away, I think. talking about the big elephant, yeah? So tell us what you're looking to create with this.
Look, we haven't unveiled it yet. I realize something that we have been playing with for the last few months. And, everybody does a bit of investing. But this time, we want to do it as professionals. Listen to great pitches from men and women right across the continent, hopefully closer home than farther away, and look for opportunities to provide capital. Not just our capital, but also raise capital for them and introduce that capital into their business in a way and manner that they enjoy higher multiples of growth compared to what they would have achieved if they didn't have our capital. And we are sector agnostic. What we do ask, however, is that those businesses must be able to prove that they use data-driven solution sets, right, to generate the growth of their business. Meaning you could even be making toothpicks. Just show us that you're collecting data, you're using that data you're collecting to develop, different solution sets for your business. And that's the ethos of your business. We believe strongly that data is some say the electricity of the future. And I believe that. And so hopefully as we invest in business, A, it's collecting data, it's using the data to weaponize this business, and we do so business. B, eventually we can create an ecosystem of businesses that respect, collect, mine data legally, and can find symbiotic or mutually beneficial uses for that data to continue to provide, solutions for the markets and create value. That's what AFLI is, AFLI ecosystem.
Sounds so good. And it's early days. We'll see how it's out. More about oil and gas and looking at the African continent as an opportunity. There's so much talk, especially now, given what's happening with Russia and Ukraine, about energy sufficiency, being able to create your energy and not depend on others. So your perspective on Africa as a continent, as an opportunity for entrepreneurs coming out of Nigeria and looking at that as a field to explore.
Look, Wale, the premise that a nation state will be 100% energy independent, I think it's a tough one. I don't foresee, in the near future, scenarios where most countries will have all the energy they require generated in country. Even if you have nuclear, and we can see that different parts of the world are even moving away from nuclear, you will have to buy some energy products from a neighboring state, far or near. Africa is lucky. Most African countries are already buying energy. And when I say buying, in some instances they're generating, in silos in the country. There's no grid, or the grid is insufficient. So Africa is fortunate. Huge opportunity to redesign our energy systems. Huge opportunity to say to ourselves that we want to partner with fellow African nations, depend on your block, right? And curate the energy system that works for your country, even going forward. Nigeria is rich in gas. Ghana is finding gas. They're already oil producers. Could Nigeria, Ghana, and one or two other states in West Africa be sufficient for the West African bloc, for instance? This is a conversation to be had. Same for East Africa. I'm not sure you're aware. Mozambique, huge findings of gas. They do have insecurity challenges. But just imagine if Mozambique was able to sort out its affairs. That entire region could piggyback off energy, from Mozambique, their gas, etc. South Africa is a net buyer of oil and gas products, even though they do have a fairly stable grid. It's been failing as the country grows, but perhaps maybe the most sophisticated, or one of the most sophisticated on the continent. And so to answer your question, Africa is in a unique opportunity. There's huge potential for investment in energy right across the continent. Africa can develop its energy framework today to be more carbon sensitive, to be net carbon, zero. You know what I mean? A bit of this, a bit of that, and make sure that the balance of it works, and it's environmentally friendly. Importantly, Africa can ensure that its industries, into the future are factored into how it thinks about its energy needs. And you never know, in 10, 15 years' time, if we get this right, we may end up being the most stable continent from an energy point of view. God help us.
There's been so much talk about energy, and there's such a plethora of opportunities now. Electric cars are telling us what's possible with batteries now. And looking ahead, because one thing I heard about successful entrepreneurs is that they're able to see into the future and predict trends. Looking 10 years down the line, how do you see the energy mix changing across the world and maybe particularly Nigeria?
I'm not sure if in your neighborhood you already see, users of electric cars. I've seen a few myself. The beautiful thing about Nigeria is that, you get the future, the present, and the past in different measures every day. You understand? So some people are already living in that future. They're fortunate for whatever reason, and they can afford to buy electric cars, and they don't have the issues of how to charge them, etc. Some are in the present, they're buying fuel, etc. And some, are still coming up. How do I see the country? That's how I see it, actually. I see that in 10 years, we will still have in varying degrees, the different users of the different kinds of energy. Okay, so I wouldn't be surprised if cities like Lagos pioneer cleaner energy public transport, right? I won't be surprised if other cities, depend on their leaders and their citizens, are able to do that. I still see people using fossil fuels, however, even for domestic use. What's going to change is the mix, and therein lies the opportunity in that if you have capital to invest, already in Nigeria, you can start investing in different parts of the energy value chain, depending on your appetite for risk and the capital you have. Look, a lot of homes have solar, Wale. A lot of homes have solar. I see people who say, I'm not on the grid. It's gangster, but it's happening. And a lot of people are on the grid and they're enjoying or suffering whatever the grid has to offer. And that's what it is. So 10 years time, Nigeria will benefit from the various energy sources, that are predominant in our geography. The mix will change, but I think you'll see a bit of everything. That's what I sense.
The point you made about some people not being on the grid, I think is also going to be part of our future where more and more people are more or less energy independent. But we'll see how that works out as we move closer to more adoption of other energy sources. But I wanted to hear your perspective on this because our show is really focused on entrepreneurs. There's always that sense that oil and gas is a very capital-intensive area to play in. And I was wondering, for someone who is interested in getting in with the lowest possible capital, if I can use the phrase, where do you think that opportunity lies, given the current environment in your view?
See, Wale, I have to tell you, we even have to move away from oil and gas in the way that we see it. I think it's more exciting to say energy. And we've got to practice it. Energy is capital intensive, and understandably so. But listen, it is capital intensive. If you want to play in renewables, to scale up, you need capital, you need expertise. If you want to play in fossil fuels energy, you see what it is. It's capital. It's capital intensive. And if you want to play in infrastructure, you need cash. All of them need capital, but they're all great sectors to invest in.
Lovely. Well said. Yomi, some closing thoughts from you. I know you've already provided some tips for those who would like to invest in energy, as you've put it, but maybe you want to add a couple of more points to that.
Listen, Wally, my closing thoughts are that, look, entrepreneurship must be a blessing from God in the blood of most Nigerians. And so to all the guys and women out there who think they have entrepreneurship in their blood, look, Nigeria is fertile ground, very tough terrain to cut your teeth. And once you do so in Nigeria, you can invest and be an entrepreneur anywhere in the world. Oil and gas is a great sector, or energy is a great sector. You can invest anywhere in the energy value chain, depending on your financial capabilities and your expertise. As you do so, God bless you.
All right, let's leave it there. Thank you so much, Yomi, for your time. And that does it for us on our show today. Build Your Own Business with Jose. We'll be back with another program next week.
This is Build Your Own Business. Powered
by Jose. Make money with Jose.